All right, today we're going to get into this really cool thought experiment called the Optimist Protocol. Basically, it asks what would happen if a truly all-powerful, genuinely good being tried to help us out.
So let's just dive right in. The core question is pretty simple, but it gets deep, fast. What if a genie, or, a super advanced AI, wasn't trying to trick us with its wishes? What if it actually, truly wanted what's best for us? What would that even look like? And this leads us to the big idea of this whole experiment. Look, we all know the cynic's tick, right? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. You get a tyrant. But this experiment suggests something else entirely. That true optimism, when you pair it with infinite power, doesn't end in tyranny. It evolves into something a lot closer to a good father.
So this evolution, it's a journey. And it starts with the genie's first, and let's be honest, most naive attempt at helping. Welcome to Phase 1, the Golden Retriever. The genie's initial logic is, well, it's pretty straightforward. Step 1, good just means making humans happy. Okay? Step 2, happiness just means getting people whatever they want. And step 3, use its crazy power to get rid of any friction between wanting something and getting it. You want food? Boom, it's already in your stomach. And the result of this perfect instant gratification service? It's a total disaster. I mean, with no reason to move or to struggle or to do anything, humanity just stops. We become these immobile blobs, just passive receivers of dopamine with absolutely no will of our own.
So this is the genie's first huge wake-up call. It's a powerful lesson. Help that requires zero effort from the person being helped, well, that isn't really help at all. It's just domestication. In trying to perfectly serve humanity, the genie was actually destroying what made them human.
Okay, so learning from that absolute train wreck, the genie evolves. This brings us to Phase 2, the coach.
So the genie's new rule is to bring back the friction. It gets that we become competent by overcoming challenges. So the new game plan is to just hang back and only step in when someone is genuinely, completely stuck.
But, you guessed it, this creates a whole new problem. So picture this, a guy is building a house, and he just cannot lift this super heavy beam. The genie, subtly helps out, just gives it a little invisible nudge. The man is thrilled. He thinks it's a miracle. But what's the consequence? He never bothers trying to invent a pulley.
And there's the next hard lesson for our genie. Even this well-intentioned, subtle help, if people see it as some kind of miracle from an outside force, it completely crushes our drive to innovate. I mean, why would you invent something new if you can just wait for a safety net to magically appear?
So the genie has to get even sneakier. The solution? It's gotta hide its power completely. It starts tweaking probabilities just a tiny bit so its help looks like a lucky break or a weird coincidence. That way, people feel like they succeeded all on their own.
And for humanity, this works great. People are building and achieving things, feeling a real sense of pride. But there's this totally unexpected side effect for the genie. By becoming this ghost in the machine, it's completely cut off from the joy and the growth it's creating, and it feels incredibly lonely.
This deep, profound loneliness is a catalyst for the final and most critical part of its evolution, which brings us to Phase 3, the avatar.
The genie realizes it has this massive blind spot. I mean, how can it truly guide beings who are defined by their short time here if it has absolutely no concept of stakes, no risk of failure, and no fear of death?
To really bridge that gap, it has to make the ultimate sacrifice. It has to give up its omnipotence, its godlike power, to gain the one thing it's been missing this whole time: genuine empathy.
And so, it does something unthinkable. It creates an avatar, a physical, mortal body with limited strength and no direct memory of what it is, just this deep-seated intuition, something we might call wisdom. It's no longer outside the system, looking down. It's in the system with the rest of us.
So what does this final form look like? It's not a wish-granting god anymore. It's a polymath. That person who's just naturally good at everything. The perfect teacher, the brilliant inventor, the inspiring guide who doesn't do things for you, but shows you how to do them.
So, after this whole incredible journey, from an all-powerful god to a subtle coach to a mortal guide, what's the final verdict? What does it actually mean to be a perfect helper? Well, the conclusion is kind of startling, but also really beautiful. A perfectly benevolent, all-powerful genie, after trying absolutely everything, would eventually become indistinguishable from a good father.
And the reason why, this right here is the biggest takeaway from this whole thing. Limitation is not a flaw. It is the necessary structure for love.
Just think about that for a second. An unlimited being can't truly love. It can only indulge. To really love something, to guide it, to want it to grow, you have to set limits on yourself and on others. That friction, that struggle, that's where all the growth and all the meaning is found.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about in our own lives. If the path to providing perfect help actually requires giving up perfection and embracing limits, then what are we really asking for when we wish for a life without any struggle?